How's it going, guys? CotC here. Today we're going to be looking at another one of the recently introduced characters that was also brought over from the original Octopath Traveler, Therion the Thief. Just like the other characters imported over from the original, Therion's kit maintains the spirit of his Thief class through abilities that debuff enemies and steal resources based on damage dealt. However, there have also been some unique additions added to his kit that make him feel like a brand new unit in CotC. Therion's VA, Yoshitsugu Matsuoka, is someone that you've probably heard at some point if you've so much as even dipped your foot into the anime space, with a very recognizable voice across numerous roles. Matsuoka voices many main male leads from a lot of big-name anime, such as Kirito from Sword Art Online, Soma from Shokugeki no Soma, Inosuke from Demon Slayer, Belle Crannel from Danmachi, Sora from No Game No Life, and so many more. In CotC, Therion's stat line is fairly ordinary apart from his extremely high speed, which caps out at 445. I personally decided to leave off around 15 speed points from his skill board in order to purposely keep him slower than Viola, who caps out at 435. This allows her to initiate a break for him to come in and do a ton of nuke damage. The biggest contributor to Therion's usefulness is definitely his 3-star passive, so let's start with that. Whenever Therion uses an ability with 3 BP, that ability is casted twice in succession. This can be used in several different ways. Combine it with a 3-hit dagger to make it 6 hits, his 2-hit AoE to turn it into a 4-hit AoE, or just to double nuke for tons of damage. This passive also means that extra BP generation is extremely valuable on Therion, making him a great combination with units such as Tressa or Alphen. Now let's get into the actual kit itself. Therion's bread and butter skills are his 3-hit dagger single target for shield cracking, and his 260 power nuke, which has a chance to inflict 2 turns of paralysis and is also only available at 5-star. These are 2 skills that I recommend bringing along most of the time. Apart from these, Therion also has access to a multitude of utility 2-hit single target dagger skills. The first 2 are basically steal HP and steal SP, allowing Therion to restore some of his resources based on the amount of damage he deals, and is a nice throwback to the Therion of the original Octopath. As long as we're on the subject, Therion's 1-star passive gives him a 50% boost to restoration via these skills, allowing him to sap even more of his health and SP back. The third is a 2-hit shield crack, giving Therion some usefulness against enemies that are not weak to dagger. However, Therion's final 5-star skill is a much more powerful shield crack option, being a 2-hit fire AoE shield crack which also has a chance to inflict paralysis on enemies hit for 2 turns, which is a nice side effect of the skill but definitely not the main reason we bring it. Being able to utilize Therion's passive to double this into a 4-hit AoE can be very powerful, but it does come with a very large SP cost of 70. Compared to the double wide burst skills of characters like Viola and Heathcote, which only cost 52 SP, spamming this turn after turn can put Therion on low gas fairly quickly, so just make sure that you're keeping an eye on that. To round out Therion's kit, he also has a couple debuffing options. The first is a 1-hit fire, which inflicts 10% attack down for 2 turns, which isn't exactly a fantastic option. The skill he learns immediately after it is much more effective, inflicting 15% attack and defense down on a single enemy for 2 to 5 turns based on boost level. Inflicting both attack and defense down is very powerful, and can be used to easily hit 30% caps when combined with skills from other units such as Viola. As far as recommended skills go, I typically always take his 3-hit dagger and 260 potency nuke, with the third slot being flexible based on the situation. If I'm against multiple enemies, the 2-hit fire AoE shield crack becomes a very enticing option, but against a single enemy, it's nowhere near as useful. Even 2-hit dagger shield crack realistically shouldn't be on the table, because if you're against a single enemy and you're bringing Therion at all, it probably means that the enemy is weak to daggers already. However, if you're against a boss that can change their weakness set, this can still be a useful niche skill to bring. Otherwise, I like to default my third skill to either the attack and defense down debuff if needed, or Magic Steel Dagger to get some of my SP back when I'm starting to run low. Accessory-wise, Therion benefits greatly from Thieves' emblems as he doesn't have any internal boost to his damage outside of the 3-star passive. Since that passive effectively doubles his damage output whenever he uses 3 BP, Thieves' emblems will have twice as much usefulness compared to normal. Since the Ritu Cup is coming up, you'll be able to get a 15% dagger up emblem from the 7th fight, so look forward to using that on Therion if you have him. And that concludes my overview on Therion. His kit and stat line are both honestly pretty ordinary, but become extremely satisfying when his passive is taken into account. As he's a fairly popular character from the original Octopath Traveler, I bet a lot of you are either looking forward to adding him to your roster, or have already tried to pick him up. Coming up next will be my Liana overview, as well as Ritu content coming up very soon as well. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comment section below, and until next time, this has been CotC. See ya!